I did a Q&A recently on Instagram, and the top question by far is, what are you gonna do about the garden in your new house? If you didn't know, I recently moved. I haven't done a house tour because I'm a bad YouTuber. Really, it's just that I feel like when you put a home together sustainably, it takes a lot longer than it would for most people. Like getting the house set up to a place where you would want to vlog it. I'm just not there yet, you know what I mean? But I don't think there's much more preparation that has to be done to the yard to get the garden started. So in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the process of really thinking out our garden and planning it appropriately with the challenges that come along with my new backyard. And this will probably have to be a multi-part series. It's definitely not something I can plan and build myself in one day. But let's get through the planning phase in today's video. But first, coffee. You, but for me, gardening plays a huge role in me living sustainably. Like, I feel like we throw around the word sustainable in so many different ways, and like, this is sustainable, that's not, and it's just become so much of a marketing term these days. But fundamentally, the way we are currently like farming food for the world is unsustainable. It cannot be sustained long term with the resources that are on this planet. Like, it's quite literally just unsustainable. So for me, a huge part of that is like taking it into my own hands. And apart from the fact of like growing my own food and doing so sustainably, less transport, less inputs, all that kind of stuff, to me, it's just really taught me how much goes into it and the importance of not wasting it, because it's very resource intensive in terms of water, nutrients, land space, but also in terms of physical labor. Man, this shit is not easy. My experience with gardening in the past includes a community garden, which we just had like 1.8x4 bed or something. Not a lot of thought went into that. We just put whatever in the ground and hope that something grew. And my last garden in my other house was built with it being kind of temporary in mind, like we always knew we were moving, but this garden at this yard is a very, very long-term, I want it to be high quality, well thought out garden. And so that's why we're gonna be looking at what grows in Texas in the winter, because I know that that is possible for me in this zone. Really think through companion planting and then draw up what it's gonna look like in the backyard. And today I wanna thank Intel for gifting me this Acer Aspire Vero. It's powered by the Intel Evo platform, and it's going to be incredible to help us on our mission today. I've been running this YouTube channel for 6 years with all the same equipment. And when I was introduced to this laptop, which has the most post-consumer recycled content, I had to test it out. And since today we're gonna be doing things like Googling, watching YouTube, maybe Skyping some people, using Photoshop to draw up what the plan is gonna look like. A lot of different things are going to be going on, which is interesting how much tech it takes for me to plan my garden. But it is what it is. And it has an incredible 12th generation Intel Core processor, which in basic terms means it's going to be able to handle all that we have to put it through today. And it's an incredible laptop for what it can process, but let me tell you about the sustainability features, because we all know that's why I'm excited about it. Honestly, it's mind-blowing. When I got this, I was looking at it and it has the speckled design because it's made of recycled materials, which, I mean, that's really cool, which is something I haven't seen done before in other laptops. Tech is one of the fastest growing waste streams in the US, and it really, really needs to be addressed. And using recycled materials is one epic way to do so. The coolest thing about this laptop, though, is that it has all of these sustainable features, which we know I love, plus the great premium experience of the Intel Evo platform, which makes it easy to be repaired or upgraded, or at the end of its life, if you can't do those things anymore, easily recycled. Like, this is a nerd Shelby thing, but if you know how much I hate planned obsolescence, repairing is a huge part of that. And their screws here are normal screws. A lot of brands that I've seen in the past will put special screws in so that you can't repair it yourself. And in layman's terms, they don't do it either, so then it's just can't be repaired or upgraded or easily recycled, right? Because most components of this have to be separated to be recycled. The Intel Evo laptops also have impeccable battery life, and they have 6/6E Wi-Fi. They're really thin and light, so it's easy to carry in your backpack. So I'm very excited to be testing this out. I'll let you know how it goes throughout the day. But the first thing I really want to look into, like I said, I'm very intimidated by the fact that my yard is sloped, and I've never had to deal with that before. Squirrels are in the chicken coop chasing each other. But like I was saying, the slope is very intimidating, but I'm sure that with the plethora of people on the internet who garden between TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I will find someone who has advice. We will gather all the information, and then by the end of this, we'll have a perfect blueprint of what my garden needs to look like. And I hope that you can learn how to do something similar with your space throughout this video, right? So like step one is look at your yard and see what your challenges are. And mine is definitely that I have 3 pretty big pecan trees and they're only going to get bigger, so it's pretty shaded. And the second thing is the slope. Those 2 things, I need to look into how other people have figured out how to garden with it, because it's a challenge. It doesn't make it impossible. And a lot of people, I think their space is too small or too shaded or sloped, or I don't even know what other challenges you can have with a garden, but I'm sure the number is endless. But I assure you that whatever the challenges are, someone on the internet has figured it out. So basically, I'm just going to learn from other experts, and I will link them below once I find who they are. But we're gonna use the Intel Evo laptop to find them. So first stop, YouTube. And you know what? It's a lovely day. So let's take our beautiful laptop out to the porch. You know, I said it was a beautiful day, and it is, but it could stand to be about 10 degrees cooler so that I could continue wearing my sweatshirt throughout the day instead of just during the chilly morning, because this is what we're dealing with. Can you see that? That says 76 degrees. We're like 2 days out from December, y'all. I need to change. That's my point. I'm going to change. So from my slope research, what I have learned is there are a ton of different slopes, and if you look up slope gardening, much bigger slopes than I have will come up. But so far, I'm seeing that there are definitely methods to make sure that basically that you are holding your soil, your nutrients, and your water within your yard so that it doesn't just run off down your slope, right? So there are so many different permaculture ways to build out your garden to make sure that you're retaining the soil, the nutrients, and the water. And so that's one thing that I am taking great note of. Even if I don't have a giant slope, it's still important to retain those things. That's the important part of it, because it's not just flat. And so I was looking into what plants I should plant outside of just like my vegetable garden, which is obviously the main thing we're planning for, but what type of plants will help me do those things, to plant them at the top of the slope. The conclusion I've come to so far, I can show you my notes, is Ceanothus, which there is a variety that is native to my zone, which I believe is zone 8B. And so that is the first thing we're gonna put on the blueprint that I know I wanna do for the garden, is put Ceanothus at the back to retain all of the good things that we need. It's native to my zone and attracts pollinators. It's okay in the shade, and it helps retain all the good things. Now, I kind of want to know what the slope of the yard is, and Madison is just now getting off for lunch, so I'm going to recruit her, and we will attempt to see if we can do that. I don't know if it's possible, but we're gonna try. Are you trying to go inside? Where do you want to go inside? Okay, let's find Mom. Oh. There's Mom.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, you want to help us attempt to measure the slope of the yard?
I'll do my best.
Excuse me. Yeah, you're so cute. Go ahead. What I learned from watching videos on the Intel Evo laptop is you need to basically get a point from the top of it, and then you need to go straight across, and then we will measure the height of that, and then that will help us get the slope. Yeah? So we really need like either a laser or a very long straight piece of like pipe or something, because ideally I would be able to have something flat go from where she is all the way to the house, so that then we could measure how tall it is from the ground. But we don't have a way to do that. Since our first attempt at trying to measure the slope didn't work out and I thought we needed like a very long pole, I am searching again on the laptop, trying to find if there's another solution. And if we have enough string, we would be able to tie it to the fence and then pull it backwards, which is a much better idea. So place a stake in the ground at the highest point of the slope you wish to calculate, tie a string to the bottom of the stake at the ground level, measure the length of the string, divide the rise by the run. Any string?
I think there might be some in your craft box, hopefully.
Where's it at? Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
Will this work?
Hopefully. These guys decided they want to be right where we need to be. They're not gonna like it when we're back here. Excuse me, girls. Can I borrow this part of the yard, please? You think it'll stay?
Hopefully.
How tall is it? 26?
Roughly 26 and some change.
Okay. And now we gotta measure from here back to that spot. Now we got 3 of these, and then Madison's gonna get the last measurement. Okay, let's go inside to calculate it. Yes, about 48 feet plus 57 inches by 26th of the height of the slope. So let's go see if we can punch that into something on the laptop and figure out what our slope is. Sunbathing? Oh my goodness. It's hot out there. Or press Windows key plus Alt plus R. Windows key plus Alt plus R. Wow, that was so easy. I was not gonna leave that in here, but I just hit 3 buttons and now I'm screen recording. Okay, back to it. Slope calculator. I believe our X is 1, and then our height would be 26, and then this would be 633. Are these inches? What is this? No. I don't think I did that right. Okay. Square root. Oh my god. Our length is 633, but not meters. Inches. 633 and our height is 26. Sure. This should be it. Our slope is 4.1%. We did it! So like I said, not a huge slope, not like a lot of the ones I was reading and looking at that like were calling for terraces, but a 4% slope is something I have never dealt with before, and just knowing that is a little bit helpful. I hope that was fun trying to figure that out with me. But now that we know that, and now that I know what I want to put in the very back to help with runoff, nutrients, water, all that sort of stuff, I'm really wanting to curate the yard to be well planted for companion plants, to prioritize space for pollinator plants, and to really plan out the layout so that it makes sense to not have every bed active for fall and winter, but to have crops that go away and then we replant ones that are is what I'm saying making sense? So for instance, in my experience, my tomatoes sometimes will go like almost all year up until we get like a hard freeze. They'll die then. But they will last for a really long time. So I wouldn't want to plan to plant something for fall in a bed that I also have tomatoes in. I want to make sure my beds are spaced in a way that makes sense. Apart from planting for the seasons and making the layout make sense for that, I also want to find companion plants. So I actually have a whole book about it, and I've read a lot of it, about how certain plants give out certain nutrients that other plants need. So for instance, planting like basil and carrots around tomatoes is supposed to help give them nutrients that tomatoes need to flourish. And so I want to do a lot more of that. Like I want to be very meticulous for how I plan out the garden in terms of those two things. So I'm going to do some research, and hopefully that'll be the next thing we add to our little blueprint that we're making here on the Intel Evo laptop. Let me know in the comments if you know any other good companion combinations, and I can also always add that into my plan because like I said, I'm gonna have to find materials secondhand like I like to do, and then it will take a lot of time to actually get this built. And I don't plan on it being full-fledged until the spring, so I would love to read your comments about other companion plants. Let me know. have bad news. I just watched a wonderful woman's video on companion planting, and she suggested a book, which I think I am going to go get from the library. We'll see if I can go pick that up today, we will. And I almost started crying because the library that I used to frequent that was right next to our community garden, it's available there. I don't know, that just brought back a lot of memories. So that's the good news. The bad news is it seems that because I have 3 pecan trees in my backyard, that actually might be a bigger problem than I realized when we bought the house. Apparently there is a chemical, I guess what you would call it, that comes from a pecan tree and not just from the leaves, but also from the roots. It's called jugalone, and that is actually toxic to a lot of plants. So that's gonna be the trickiest part of all of it, right? I've got the shade problem, I've got the slope problem, and now I've got some toxic chemical that apparently comes from pecan trees.
I don't even know what other challenges you can have with a garden, but I'm sure the number is endless.
Although pecan trees in and of itself is a really cool aspect of permaculture in general, having a crop in your backyard that also does a great job at providing shade, which is good for energy efficiency for this side of the house because this is the west and south facing. This is kind of like southwest, which is the hot part of the house, and so that's where you want shade. So the pecan trees are good, just maybe not great for gardening. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can about what gardening in those conditions looks like. If you have any advice, please let me know in the comments. But I think we'll go ahead and pause here and go try to pick up this book. Let's do it. Support your local planet. I obviously just moved, so this is my first trip to this library. Oh my god, it's so cute. And there's also like a little walking path around here, which I didn't know. So maybe we'll come explore this in the vlog soon, but I got my books. And now I can go home, and note to self next time, bring my bike, because the drive here was great. Pretty much just neighborhood roads. Oh my god, I love my life in Austin, you guys. I don't know if I've told you this before, but been trying to get back here for so long, and now that we're here, it's unbelievable how much happier I am. I mean, you guys have left comments on my Instagram that Madison and I, and on the vlog, that Madison and I just look like we're glowing and look like we're happier, and it's because we are. We're meant to be here. I plan on reading this book throughout the holiday season. Like, I'm not gonna read it all today. I'm not a great reader. I don't like reading, but I will read things that like are otherwise not available on audiobooks. But I've been reading this several articles here on the Intel Evo laptop, of course. And the consensus seems to be that I need to figure out what variety my pecan tree is, because some of them have been found to have more of that toxic chemical than others, and some have been found to have none. So depending on the variety of my pecan tree, we might be okay. So I'm gonna use this app I've used before. It's just like a plant identifying app. I'm not particular to any specific one. But if I can get a good picture of the leaves here, we might be able to figure out what pecan tree I have, and then we will really get some hardcore answers about what we can plant on the ground out here. Let's see. Let's hope it's wrong, because we got Arizona black walnut, and black walnut is one of the trees that you absolutely cannot plant under. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit scared now. I've never seen a walnut tree, so I just assumed they were pecans, but everybody told me the pecan tree should have produced nuts like a couple months ago, and these trees didn't. And I've seen little nuts on the ground, and I guess I just assumed that they were pecans, but let's see if I can find some tell what that is at all. That looks like a pecan, not a walnut, right? Yeah, that does not look like a walnut. I'm gonna take another picture from a different angle and hope that the app was just incredibly wrong. Maybe here? Oh, okay, this one is giving me pecan now. This is the same tree, mind you, that I just took a picture of. Okay. Okay, we're getting it again. That's a better sign. Let's try that. Oh, I'm getting the walnut again. What about this if I get really close up to like this leaf? Let's see. Uh-oh. I gotta go back to the laptop. We're gonna use our Intel Evo again. Let's see if we can find any more information. Like, see, does this look kind of like what we saw? There's gotta be pictures that look like this of what we saw out there. Yeah, right? Tell me I'm not crazy. Like this? Yeah, right? Okay. I'm going with the thought that I have a hickory's pecan, and I'm going to plan my beds according to that. I have spent hours today researching this garden, and I'm done. I want to be done. And I feel like I know a lot, and I know that there's still more that needs to be done, but I really did not expect it to be this intense. And Madison has no idea why it suddenly got more intense. I took one of those gardening apps, like my app that identifies plants, you know, you're always telling me to use it. She tells me to use it on dogs, you guys. She's silly. But anyway, so I used it out there to try to figure out what variety of pecan tree that is, because depending on the variety, it could be emitting a toxic chemical. Oh, like it's just something that the tree does, and it would make it really difficult to plant almost anything underneath it.
Okay.
So I took my phone out there to find out what type of pecan tree it is. And the first picture came back as a black walnut, which is actually the most toxic plant you can have.
What?
Like, for planting other things.
Okay.
So I did so much research trying to identify which they are, and I still don't have a concrete answer.
So what do we do?
I'm like 60% sure it's a pecan. We're gonna have to wait for the spring to see if anything will actually even grow here. And I'm gonna plan the garden in the meantime to only add like the plants in the background. I'm only gonna put the plants to hold the soil and the nutrients and the water in place. I'm gonna do 2 garden beds where it's not directly under the canopy of the trees. And then after that, we're gonna have to revisit all of this because wow, what a wild ride this was.
Yeah, that's really intense.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to figure that out or we can't grow anything.
I have been on this laptop nonstop all day trying to do the best I can to grow my own food, and you guys, wow, did we discover a lot today. But I hope this inspires you also to put in the work to research what plants, companion plants, how to resolve or like work through the challenges that whatever garden you are working with presents to you. Small spaces, shaded spaces, hot places I've dealt with. So I would love to hear if you learned anything from this video. Also, huge thank you to Intel for sponsoring this video. This Intel Evo laptop, like not only is it incredible how many recycled materials there are in this, the repairability is huge for me. The R and the E are even reversed, which is so cool because it's like meant to reuse, reduce, recycle, repair, all those sort of things. And the repairability of this is so cool. All the sustainability aside though, the amount of things I've had this laptop do today, and it just kept up with me with no problem. So huge shout out to them. I'm gonna leave a link in the top of the description if you wanna go check it out. Like I said, the tech space definitely needs more sustainability infused into it, and I love to see this check almost every box to me for a laptop. All the things I already explained. I won't go over them again. Go read the link if you want to learn more. But that's all I have for you today. This is the drawing that we ended up with. I'm going to continue working on this, and I will definitely keep you in the loop on where I get materials from, what I end up doing. I also really want to certify either our front or backyard, or both if it's possible, as certified wildlife habitat, which is not going to be something that we do quickly. It will be a long process, but I'll keep you updated all along the way. And thank you so much for watching, and remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye guys.